this is a monumental moment for the N10 Puck Talk podcast. We have Matthew Zator on, the Swaggy Canuck, on to answer some Canucks questions that we have for you today. What's going on, Matthew?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Not bad at all. Yourself?
Doing pretty good. It's a nice, well, it's not really nice morning. It's not sunny, but yeah, it's going pretty well.
Okay, if you guys didn't know, Matthew lives in Vancouver and we're from Toronto, so we're doing this on different time zones. And we just want to ask you a couple of questions about the Canucks and what do you think of the team going into the future and next year. And the first question we're just going to ask you is, what do you do? What do you do? So tell me a bit about yourself on Twitter and stuff.
Well, Twitter, it's pretty big. I tweet almost every day. I'm over at overtimeheroics.com. Hockey. I'm basically director of the writers there, so I manage a whole bunch of writers. And yeah, that's the biggest part. I also write for the hockey writers, obviously about the Canucks, and Unwrapped Sports as well, and the Canuck Way too. So
totally.
Yeah, nice. So I write a lot. I'm busy, so it's pretty big.
Yeah, it's a very busy schedule you got going over there in Vancouver.
Oh yes, that's an exciting time too. So.
Oh yeah, the off season's always exciting.
Yes, definitely.
All right, so the next question we have for you is, what do you think of the Canucks off-season so far?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty happy with the free agency that's on July 1st when they signed Tyler Myers and Jordy Ben there. Definitely increased the defense and the strength of it. So I'm excited about that, especially adding those two bigger bodies to the back end too. So it'll help with some of the intimidation that some of the teams have been doing and taking liberties on Pedersen and the like. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm a big Montreal fan, so obviously Jordy Ben was on the back end last year, and he actually had a pretty decent season by his standards. He actually had a decent amount of points. He played pretty well in the third pairing, so you're going to like him. I know he's a Victoria boy, so he's playing for his hometown. So, yeah, I think that was a good signing for you guys as well. And the Myers one was pretty good as well. Maybe too much money for my taste, but I think he's a good addition to any defense core.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with the rumors that were going around, there was upwards of 7-8 million.
Yeah.
And it came in at 6. So I mean that's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And so I mean I'm okay with it. Definitely, he's going to go up into his 35 when he comes off the contract. But I mean I think he's going to be pretty good as long as he doesn't slow down with his skating. So yeah, but overall I think I'm happy about it. It's a lot better than signing Carlson to like a 12-year contract, crazy money. So So yeah.
Alrighty, Thomas, want the next question?
Yeah, I just want to ask him. I saw your draft kind of grade for the Vancouver Canucks draft that happened, and I like the grade you put. You put a B, so I really like that. I think Vasily Pozolskin's going to be really good in the NHL, power forward.
Yes.
What do you think about the draft? Like, it was in Vancouver, so like.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I wanted to go to it, but tickets were kind of not. It wasn't really available when. Not a season ticket holder, which I'm hoping to be this coming season.
Okay.
Covering a bit more. Nice. So, yeah. But overall, I mean, Podkolzin is a really good draft pick. We're going to have to wait 2 years before we can see him, but, overall, it's exciting. And Hoglander was a huge... Yeah. I mean, I was excited when they drafted him in the second round, especially when he was supposed to go in the first, so... he's going to be an exciting player. Probably going to come a little sooner than everyone thinks. I think he may be coming in maybe next season. Not this coming season, but next season, I think.
Okay.
He's a fitness nut if you saw some of his videos.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's definitely going to be physically ready. We'll see if he's going to be able to kind of do the same stuff in the NHL as he's been doing over in Europe there.
All right, so after that question, we were kind of discussing a little bit before we started the core of the Canucks, and we just wanted to know, based on what you know of the roster and the personalities on that team, who do you think the next captain will be for the Canucks?
Oh, that's not even a question. It's Bo Horvat.
Yeah, we said that too.
I mean, there's no one else in my mind. I mean, everyone's kind of, Alex Edler, but he's going to be gone in the next couple of years. Guys like Tanev, again, gone in probably another, couple of years. It's no question in my mind that it's Horvat. And, I mean, there's even been talk about, guys like Besser, Pedersen. I mean, Horvat's already been here for a few years, already shown his leadership ability, stepped up huge last season, took tons of face-offs in every situation. I mean, there's no question in my mind it's Horvat, hands down.
Yeah, that's not even a bad pick as your captain. I wouldn't go with Pedersen or Besser just because I think they're just breaking to the league right now and just getting like their own. But I mean, Horvat's he's been to the playoffs before, and he's been with the Canucks for a couple of seasons. So I'd like to see him get to see next year in those cool rockin' jerseys. So we'll see.
Agreed. Yes, I actually like the jerseys. Some people are saying that they're kind of tacky. I don't know. I like them. They're a lot better than having that Vancouver word mark over the logo, which annoyed me right from the beginning. So.
And okay, so the next question, we just want to talk about Brock Besser for a minute. How much money is he getting?
I mean, I think it's going to come in at around, I want to say $7 million. There've been rumors that they're just going to sign him to a 4-year contract rather than the long-term deal. I mean, I'm okay with that. I'd rather him be signed long-term, but I mean, 4 years still doesn't bring him to free agency, so he's signed to that. I think he's probably okay.
Yeah, he's a really good player. I really like Besser, what he brings to the table. He's got an unreal shot, as you probably know. Yeah. So I think, about $7 million is probably fair for him. Maybe even like between 7 and 7.5 even would be pretty good for him. He is like a budding star, as you said. He's only going to get better. He's going to become better as an overall player.
Yes.
So I think, I guess a 4-year contract would be pretty good for Besser to kind of just establish himself more in the league.
Yeah, I agreed.
Yeah. So he's one RFA. So as you know, there's many RFAs that are unsigned right now, and this is probably the best RFA class we've ever had in the NHL. So who do you think is the best RFA unsigned right now?
For the Canucks, it's definitely Besser.
Yeah.
I mean, Goldobin's on there too. With Goldobin, he's kind of in that transition phase of he's not. He hasn't really proven himself yet. He hasn't been really given a chance here, I don't think. I mean, he's played with Pedersen a bit, but not enough to really execute what he can do. I think he has a ton of skill, just can't seem to put it together defensively. So the money that he may get, I don't know. I mean, he may be on a show me deal, maybe $2-3 million, but he can't really demand more than that. So. And then Ben Hutton was an RFA, but they got rid of him because of the fact that he wanted too much money. So he's unrestricted now. I don't know. I think a team will pick him up, but because he is still a young defenseman, still has some potential. So
we were asking who is the best one in the NHL right now.
Oh, NHL, not the Canucks. Oh, I just talk about the RFAs we have right now. Mitch Marner then for the NHL.
Okay, that's my team, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all going to shake down as. I mean, he's going to be wanting a lot of money too. But you guys, I mean, Toronto's got to sign him. They can't let him even go into the season have another William Nylander problem there. So
I want to ask you one more thing about that. How much news is the Leafs in Vancouver? Like how much? Is it a lot, a little?
I mean, there's a fair amount. I mean, I do hear a lot about the Leafs over here, and whenever they're in town, we got tons of Leafs fans coming to the games. So it's a hot button topic for. I mean, I don't know. Whenever you mention it to Canuck fans, they're all over the place. So yeah.
On topic of RFAs, do you think we'll see another offer sheet? I know Montreal offer sheeted Aho last week.
Yeah.
It still hasn't officially been matched yet. Because I know Carolina is just waiting their time, kind of screwing Montreal because the offer sheet wasn't as good as it should have been. But anyways, do you think you can see another offer sheet for any RFA this summer?
I mean, I know there's rumors that some of the can't remember what who the team was that may offer sheet Marner. So you guys have to maybe watch out for that. Yeah.
Oh,
So I mean,
yeah, as a Montreal fan, like I kind of want to see a Marner get offer sheet and see what the
Oh my
Leafs
God.
do.
yeah. I mean, you have to match it. I mean, the only time that offer sheets, in my opinion, aren't matched is when you go crazy for the money, like back when Dustin Penner was signed to
Oh,
that crazy
yeah.
contract. I
That was
mean,
nuts.
they were kind of forced not to match it because of the fact the money would have just screwed up the whole cap structure, and it was in Buffalo at that time. So yeah, it's and then Penner didn't really live up to that contract either. So
No. All right. So we got one last question for you. Maybe we'll have another one, but this is one of our favorite ones that we'll ask. What is your favorite Roberto Luongo moment as a Canucks player?
as a Canucks player, oh my gosh, there's so many. That's a hard question. Um, I mean, I have. There's a lot of stuff that he did. I wrote an article about him
Yeah.
on Hockey Writers, kind of detailing his legacy here, and I mean, he was probably one of the best goalies
Oh,
in Canuck
hands down.
history. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, even over guys like Kirk McLean. I mean, he was phenomenal. I mean, he left on not ideal terms, with the fact that he kind of was forced out because of the fiasco there, which probably the whole NHL knows about that. So
Yeah.
all the fans, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
best moment, I would still say when I still go back to what the overtime marathon was, like 70 something saves he had.
Yeah, that
I
was
mean,
nuts. Oh my God.
I still remember that game. I'm like, he better win that game because I mean he was standing on his head half the time. So and then
Isn't that the most saves in an NHL game?
that I believe that was the record for a game too. It wasn't just in
Jeez.
franchise
Wow.
history. It was like it was in the entire NHL. So yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then obviously the cup run
Yeah.
up to a point. I mean, I choose kind of forget the Boston series. So I still go back. I can talk hours on the stuff that they didn't do, and what Vigneault didn't do throughout that run. So that can be a whole podcast in itself.
Yeah, one thing that I noticed about that series, it's like they would win in Vancouver, like very close, and then they would go to Boston and get absolutely smoked. Like it was just
Yes.
so weird.
It was like there were demons in Boston that Luongo couldn't shake, the Canucks couldn't shake, and they come back home and he posts a shutout. So
Yeah, like it was weird. I remember like that series so vividly.
yeah, I do too. And I mean, I still think that I don't know how well it would have gone over, but putting Schneider in one of
Oh,
those
yeah.
games
Yeah.
rather than Luongo. I mean, I don't think Luongo would have cared winning a cup if Schneider won it. I mean, the team still won it, but that's a story that could be hours unpacked. So
Yeah.
Well, I'm very aware of the Boston Bruins as I'm a Leaf fan, and we don't want to mention how many Game 7s we went to versus them.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
the Game 7 in Vancouver versus Boston, like, what was that? I know there was riots in the city and
Yes,
tons
yeah.
of stuff like that. So, like, what was that? Like, how did you, like, think? What do you think of that? Like, that was crazy, that Game 7.
Yeah, I mean, I remember how angry I was. That's all.
So, yeah.
I mean, I was just pissed off about Marchand and Bergeron. Bergeron's a good player. That's the reason I did. But
Yeah.
Marchand's just really frustrating to watch. And not. I mean, he gets away with so much stuff, and I mean, especially with punching Daniel Sedin like
Oh my
five times
God,
in the
punching
face,
Yeah, yeah.
and no one stepping up to take him on. I mean, even if Daniel would have punched him back or taken him to the ice, and I think that would have fired up the rest of the team, but he just stood there and took it. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that could have done differently there, or had different players to step up
Yeah.
to kind of change that series around, because all Boston did was push everyone around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then get on the power play and wouldn't. I mean, the Canucks, even if they would have scored a few goals on the power play, would have deterred it a bit. So
Yeah, stop the momentum.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of lot of stuff that you could talk about in that series. For that game 7, the riots afterwards. I mean,
So,
that's not. I don't think that's on Canuck fans. I mean, a lot of the people that started that weren't even Canuck fans. They were from this, from different cities that were just kind of create stuff.
yeah.
So I mean, it didn't reflect well on the city, especially right after the Olympics there.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
especially.
But I mean, it's taken a long time to kind of rebuild the reputation here. But I mean, it's getting better. I think if that happens again, and then we'll get that reputation back. But I mean, it was a dark time at that time of the playoffs. So
Joe, you have any more questions for Matthew?
I guess one more. Who's your favorite player in Canucks history and why? Like just in their overall history.
overall history, I'm leaning to I mean the Sedins. I can't really. I mean, the legacy they've built and the way they not just changed the Canucks the way they played, but the way the NHL played. I mean, you see a lot of teams take on what they did with the cycle game that a lot of teams didn't do. And, when they not be the most flashiest players like, the Ovechkins, McDavids. But, I mean, you watch them, the build-up that they created with the cycle and the shifts that they had, the 2-minute shift, I still remember that.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Edmonton couldn't get the puck away from them. So,
yeah.
The moments that they had in a Canuck jersey, I mean, I can make a whole article on the different highlights that they had. So, especially even the last game they played at home here, I mean, felt like a playoff game, even though the Canucks were out of the playoffs. So, I mean, probably the best game I've seen in, since the playoffs, since that Stanley Cup run. So that's saying something. So, yeah, it's hands down the Sedins.
All right, that's my last question. Thomas, you have anything to ask him?
I don't know. Well, you mentioned the kind of the Olympics. Did you attend any games, and what was that like for the city of Vancouver?
I mean, it's huge. I didn't go to any games, which now in hindsight, I wish I would have. But I watched on TV. I wasn't as big on Twitter at the time. That I've kind of gotten into that more in the last, I would say, last 6 months or so, and it's kind of blown up to. I didn't think it would blow up this fast, but I would have loved to go into some of those games. But for the city of Vancouver, Olympics were massive. I kind of wish that it would happen again, but I don't think it will for a while because they've kind of built over what they did for those Olympics. So it's it'll be kind of hard to do it again, even though the infrastructure is kind of here. So, but it was exciting and it kind of put Vancouver on the map a bit. So.
Yeah, well, we enjoyed watching Crosby score that goal. So
I still remember that time too. So not the biggest fan of Crosby, but at that point I was.
I think every Canadian was. Even if you didn't like him at the time, you sure loved him in that moment.
Yes, 100%. So I still rank him as probably one of the best players in Canada's roster. I mean, despite the fact that I don't care for him, but I mean, talent is amazing. So don't deny that.
Yeah, well, I think that pretty much wraps up this interview. We like chatting with you, Matthew. We're hoping you could get on sometime else. But
sure.
You're doing very good on Twitter and very good with your articles. I really enjoy reading them, so keep it up. And
for sure.
Yeah, any last words you have to say about yourself?
No, I mean, happy to be here. It'd be amazing to come on again. So, it's great.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us, Matthew.
Yeah, thanks, Matthew, for joining us.
All right, thank you guys.